Now it's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's have some fun looking at reactions to Donald Trump's extraordinary win. The red wave has cometh and the lefties are, well, they're giving me too much content.
I'm sorry. No! Why?
Look, it's fair to say she's not handling it well. As for this next lass, I'm not sure where she is today.
I swear to God, if you idiots elect that demented man, I will burn this whole place to the ground.
And this woman is too old to be this stupid, but sadly leftism and TDS can leave the sufferer delirious, delusional and dangerously stupid.
You voted for a racist, a rapist, a dictator. You voted for a bully, a bigot, and a narcissist. Even the Germans tried to warn us, but you didn't listen. You didn't listen to the historians, the psychologists, the educators, and the intellectuals. Of course not, because Dictatorship 101 is to convince you to distrust the media, the educated, and to create an us versus them mentality.
It's always the dimmest folk who go on about educated experts. If you're wondering why these lefties are so triggered, so shocked by reality, so out of touch with their fellow Americans, well, it could be because they consume the type of media I'm about to show you now. Here are some of our favourite media leftists who were convinced that Donald Trump was toast, that Kamala was going to win, and win easily.
In my humble view, lights out.
Please welcome back the next president of the United States.
I think it's going to be a blowout, actually. I don't think it's going to be a close race. I think there are going to be those Republicans that just vote for Harris.
It'll be tied on Election Day, as always it will. The polls will be tied, and then he'll lose.
You call us trash? Oh, J.D. Vance, you just effed up in a way that I've never seen in my political life, and I worked for Sarah Palin.
I would say take Harris over 270 electoral votes. Let these fools in these crypto markets do something. Let them drive the betting line into a favorable place and then take advantage of it. That's what I would do. I think she's going to win.
You wrote Trump is toast. You stand behind that today?
Oh, even more so. I feel the same way that I felt a few weeks ago that Trump is toast.
And they're not taking the loss well. Here is Sonny.
You're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you.
Hey, I'm all right, it's nothing. It's just a little scratch. Mom!
Women are not romantic. Y'all want romance, but y'all not romantic in general.
True.
What happens when you do get the man you want? You're not even prepared to take care of him. Because every woman want a good man until it's time to be a good woman. Y'all want a king, but y'all not king size. Ooh. Every woman ain't fit for a king. Ooh. You're not even king size. You don't even know how to make him feel 10 feet tall. Yeah. And then when that man's love cup is on E and he begins to act funny, they project.
Yeah.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm going to come.
Well. Feminists, anything to say? No? Alright, I'll let you cry about it, but meanwhile, we have a show to do. Men, regardless of political affiliation, race, or creed, it's looking like the masculine world just got a serious second wind, and modern women are melting down all around us. It's nice to see one of the Western countries that I've had the chance to call home finally recognize that being a woman doesn't translate into a card where you can get anything you want. In response to recent events, there have been threats, proposals to hire hitmen, and oh dear, worst of all, modern women are telling us they don't want to date anymore.
Please, come back.
Is what we would say if we hadn't already left in droves long before any of this happened on the 5th. Men haven't been dating in the West for what feels like ages at this point, and if the recent election has proved anything, it's that most of the world is just as finished with the nonsense. And now for the tears to fill our empty glasses.
What's wrong with you?
I can't do this anymore. I'm literally sick. I'm literally sick to my stomach. What's wrong with you people? Why do you want him back? I'm just not. I can't fucking deal with this shit right now. Alright guys, it's time to go to bed. None of us are stressed about the election, right? It's all
I really hope it changes by the time I wake up tomorrow. It's nearly 3 a.m. right now, but I don't think I'm gonna live till I'm 30. I'm just here, listening, crying and making tacos.
Oh boy, it must be fixed.
Mating has been consolidated in the worst way. 50 men on Tinder, 50 women. 46 of the women show all of their attention to just 4 men, leaving 46 men pursuing just 4 women. We have huge mating inequality, and here's the problem. When people don't get together and there's no pheromones and there's no vibe, women, and we don't like to say this on the left, primarily try and make very quick assumptions about this individual's ability to garner resources in the future. So what you have is this concentration of interest, and you're ending up with Porsche polygamy, where 10% of the men get 90% of the attention, which does not lead to good behavior or form long-term relationships. E-commerce was disastrous for retail. Social media was disastrous for everybody. Online dating is disastrous for mating and for men.
The system continues to rot at a rapid rate. Surprise, surprise, and men are now fixing it. People all over the world have been watching this spectacle unfold for months. They brought out the Cheneys, which was a brilliant move, but then the icing on the cake was when they thought female celebrities who have poured gasoline on the dating fire could help this chick get into office. I mean, Taylor Swift? Cardi B? Why don't you just pick up a guy inhaling markers on a Long Island sidewalk and ask him to riff for 3 hours? What the progressive side offered was this same thing that men have been watching destroy the West for over a century. Women without any morals, making songs, only adequate enough to play in an elevator, about the carousel and stealing men's money while they sleep. The whole thing praised the kind of dating and relationship environment where simps sit across the table listening to how a chick had a hard day filming and how she's happy that the guy foolish enough to participate in the ritual would be footing the bill. Well, you had a pretty rude awakening, didn't you, ladies? Kinda gives the morning walk of shame a whole new meaning. And all of this really wouldn't have been nearly as big of a concern if men weren't working twice as hard to carry the load of women they don't even know. Women so unhinged, they incite violence.
I just found out about this shit. It just happened. I haven't even had a second to process. You're telling me somebody finally had the balls to bring a pew-pew, and he missed! We were a second away! We were a centimeter away from half of the problem being gone, and you missed! There was a white man attached to that trigger. I know it! We were a centimeter away! Oh!
We just literally dodged a bullet.
You should never take a woman out on a date that you don't have vested interest in and that you're not sure she has a vested interest in you. You're wasting your money, you're wasting your time. If you need, hold on, I'm not done. If you want to know if a woman is interested in you for real and wants to not just use you as a meal plan, because let me tell you, a lot of my homegirls are going out with you because they are bored. They don't have nothing to do. They're not over the other dude. Somebody else hasn't hit her back yet, so she's going out with your stupid ass.
The feminist cost doesn't lead to reward. The economy shows this. Let's take a quick look at feminist policy and its effect on the Western economy for a moment, shall we? Oh look, gas is 50% more expensive. Wow, groceries are more than twice as much, with a decent steak costing around $30. Over there, the judicial system is wrongly imprisoning innocent guys and taking shitloads of money through alimony and child support. Up above, they're asking for an increase in taxes to push for female empowerment programs and extra single-use bathrooms. Seriously, is it a shock to any real man with a packed wallet that the vote swung that way? No, because if guys were to choose any different, they'd be on a permanent date with every woman determined to leech off a network they never contributed to creating. And that's the point. If people chose female leadership, it would have essentially been the super ultra mega date, the kind of date that wouldn't end for 4 years, possibly a century. I've been around the world, and I've seen a bunch of shit. Many of us have, and it's not like the US is the planet, but we'd be lying if this doesn't set a pretty good standard going forward that men are done with these expensive games. From the small-scale date to the date many would have to face on an unprecedented scale, where men would be damned for any decision they chose to make. And come on, the reactions say it all.
Freak out because it's not even real. Because, bitch, recount the vote!
Oh my god, I'm fucking crying with you, girl. It's not the same kind of tears, but I'm fucking crying with you. I watched that video like 900 times and it gets better every fucking time. I'll just start sending me these thermal meltdowns from the left. It's fucking greatness. I'm gonna stitch every one of them. It's like being in a dick storm getting hit in the face with a set of titties. I fucking love it.
Ask you a question. Hold on, stop. I had to tell you to shut up, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. How about this? Let's go into a dream world. Question. Okay, look. Let's go into a dream world, right? I can tell you. Let's say me and you are walking down the street and some guy robs your purse and runs away, and he punches you in the process. And I just stand there looking at what's going on, and then you have to scream at me to say, "Go get him." And then I think about it, and then I go get him. What's more attractive? You screaming at me to go do my job, or I just react and punch him and get your bag back for you?
If you're a man, you're gonna do it regardless.
Thank you. If you're a lady, you're gonna shut up regardless. Ooh. That's the point.
The only date worthy of masculinity is the one that accepts the standard, not a Western trait. Now, that's being resolved. Perhaps one of the craziest developments of the recent election was the turnout in some female demographics. The feminists ran campaign ads involving The Handmaid's Tale, chubby simps telling actual working men on non-staged farms that they weren't afraid of women, and ads targeted at wives to betray their husbands in the voting booths. They did this because they have an insanely warped view of the stable relationships between men and women that actually work. In their addled minds, they think these traditional households are draconian wastelands, where the husband leaves his wife in the attic or closet until it's time for dinner. Most of them have become so inundated with pointless manic propaganda that the idea of a happy traditional family is absolute fiction. Now, this isn't to say that all of the women who did vote are suddenly cured of the disease we often talk about on this channel. All it really means is that a large portion of them came to the brief understanding that whatever has been going on isn't working. If things are to actually change in a meaningful way, the change will ultimately be cultural rather than political. Again, the very standards will have to change, and so far we're not seeing that happening on a scale that would make men come back. But it is something. We can be cynical about a lot of things, but this is a small step in the right direction.
Is there anybody else out there who's extremely overwhelmed with emotions today? And not in a bad way, like, we did it. There's so much evil in this world. And the energy that I have felt since last night into tonight, it is so pure and happy. There's so much God energy across this country right now. I am so freaking happy that we did this. Like, I didn't think we could survive another 4 years under this blue administration. This is fucking dope. And if you're a parent, you know how big of a deal this is for our children and their children. It's a big deal.
That woman is a woman!
This situation here is dated you, had no kids, okay? You weren't good enough for me, gone, right? By your own admission, you weren't good enough, I'm gone. Then you end up with another guy, end up having his kids. Now suddenly guy number 2, who's the ex, is suddenly good enough for you. Just pointing this out, that this is a phenomenon which happens often.
It happens, but I'm telling you, it was always this guy for me. Like, it was not like, oh, I thought this guy would be better. It was, this isn't working. This guy's totally different, so maybe that's what I need. Even though I'm crazy about you, this is just not good. And I just... in all that time, we could not get each other off the other's mind, and it was very mutual.
Does the new guy have resources?
Yeah, he does.
Wait, did you repeat that the entire time, even while you were married to your...
Yeah, I was always in love with him. But you can be in love with someone and it not be healthy. And
I'm sorry.
No, I don't think you can.
I think you can.
No, I really don't think you can. I think that anybody who would marry anybody who was in love with somebody else.
Dating modern women is like dating the men of her past. Elections are no different. What was that thing she said? Oh, right.
What can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
There can be 100 people in the room.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know?
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
One can be unburdened by what has been. Doesn't really make sense now. Didn't make that much sense then. Now, what does make sense is that when it comes to men, the past can be put behind us. For women, not so much. The general campaign thought they could get the general public to forget how she got there in the first place. That maybe they could magically wave a wand and all of her, quote, tactics that she used to achieve a high office would be a thing of the past. And that is very, very dumb. While feminists and simps on late-night talk shows talked about how much of a glorious victory they were about to have, men were sitting on their couches with a beer in hand, tired from a workday, with all of their past actions on repeat playing in the back of their mind. When a woman escorts her way into high positions in business, society, or government, a lot of women don't even look at that and think, hey, that's leadership potential. And that can really be boiled down to one simple fact. That's not merit. That's straight cheating. Cheating the system, cheating men, and cheating the civilization that gave you way more opportunities than you ever really deserved. When this chick started moving up from one political office to another, people got suspicious. So she hitched her wagon to a simp with a couple of kids and tried to convince the country that she was a long-time loyal mother. And nobody bought it.
You're definitely a single woman because you got the single woman tell. That damn smoke detector. How do you live with that?
The way that I've been living with just being a single woman is
No. Specifically, the smoke detector that keeps chirping. How do you live with that?
Can you just elaborate more on like what do you mean by the smoke detector?
It keeps going beep.
Like red flags?
That smoke detector that's beeping in the background. There's a smoke detector. It beeps every 30 seconds and it goes beep.
I don't hear anything beeping. Did you just hear it again? Because I don't hear anything.
Wait for it. Told you guys they don't hear it after a while. There it was.
The beep? Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I have to replace my fire smoke detector.
Oh my God!
Batteries. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Okay, so I just noticed it.
You didn't notice it. And it's one of the first things men notice about you ladies, because a man would not sit there with that thing beeping like that. Every 15 seconds, it beeps.
Okay, noted.
And my point is, guys, the things that we notice, they don't notice. They get comfortable.
You are independent and strong.
People don't tell women the truth these days. Men get told the truth all the time. Women have no problem telling a man, I don't want an average man. It happens every day on my show. TLC said they don't want no scrubs, and we have no problem telling average men, you ain't crap. But if I just happen to have the nerve to agree with a woman that says she's average, then I'm Satan. I think that's interesting. People don't tell.
Dating betrays honesty, and that's just not masculine. We're the ones that are done. It was interesting back in the pioneer period, Kevin, but now it's about as American as apple pie. One of the other so-called trends after the majority vote was that women started hopping on TikTok, telling their stories, and demanding that all women behold the beast with two backs for 4 whole years. But if you were to go and look at the way any of these chicks looked aesthetically, well, let's just say they made the VP look like the Kate Upton burger campaign. All that's going on, in response to a perfectly valid countrywide decision, is the same thing women have been doing for decades, yelling out loud in an empty studio apartment at men who don't even know they exist. In other words, their punishment is to withhold something nobody asked for. It would be like if I walked around a UFC event bar and tapped on every shoulder, telling each and every one of them, don't worry, brother. And then after they inquired further confused, I just said, don't worry, I'm not going to kick your ass. Absolutely no impact, no change, no promise to fret about. Real men have been out of these women's lives for so long, if not forever, to the point that many of them think we're some kind of biblical demon. We're larger than life, living rent-free in their heads.
Women in the US are not happy over the election and they're starting a new movement because of it. So since Kamala lost, thousands of women are refusing to accept that this has happened because it was completely unexpected to many. And this situation has angered many women to the point that they're now bringing over a new movement to the US called the 4B movement. Women are saying if they don't see the tables turn to Kamala over the next few days, which is very unlikely, they're gonna start the 4B movement, which actually originated in Korea. The 4B movement is basically 4 different rules which all state they're going to have nothing to do with men anymore. And women who are starting to follow this movement are no longer wanting to date, marry, or talk to men anymore in an attempt to make changes to their rights. This is especially since Trump has won, and they don't think he's going to do them any favors when it comes to certain things and rights. Now, this movement isn't massive in Korea, but thousands of women still follow it over there, and its effect is kind of debated still. However, what's scary to a lot of men is the fact that it might become much bigger in the US, given that many women are really not happy right now with who won. We're not gonna find out how this is going to affect us for at least a while, but the fact this is growing is making a lot of people concerned, and it could have real repercussions.
Then our problem would be solved.
Have you been cheated on?
Yeah, I have.
How'd you find out?
I checked a health app and found their heart rate spiked at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night.
A lot of questions, but luckily the primary one has been answered. Guys, masculine value still has credit. The people know that. Apparently, most of the US knows that, which is why they are, again at least for now, not putting up with it anymore. In this situation, people put policies and politics aside, even if those weren't half as bad either, and chose their gut, because the system that was in place was damaged beyond repair. Feminist governance claimed to have everyone's best interests in mind, but if that was true, Western people wouldn't be eating and drinking poison. They argued that health mattered, but the absolute creature they had running that department didn't really represent that at all. And regardless of what women in the modern landscape continue to say, men don't fight because we have a deep desire to satiate a bloodlust. We ultimately do it because we want peace. And peace, for these feminist cronies in Washington, was not on the menu.
Oh, crud. Oh, gosh darn it. Shoot.
We are back, baby. We are fucking back. We're back. Classic.
What would you do if you just learned today that you only had 6 months to live? What if you only had 6 months to live? What would you stop doing? What would you do more of? Who would you spend time with? Now, the answer to that question is very interesting because what it tells you is what you really value. What is really important to you? And what we have found is that self-esteem, satisfaction, happiness in life comes from getting your goals and your activities congruent with your values, with your priorities, with what you consider to be really important.
And that is why the people chose something different. Not the same tired thing that has only reduced masculine benefits for all of the people out there who need a man to step up, take charge, and actually make a difference. We may have walked away, but that in no way means that we also walked away from our home and our values. We're back, baby. Bless you all, we're back. And if you made it to the end of this video, I want to wish you tremendous success, and I want to say I appreciate you. So don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment to have a chance to win, and hit that subscribe button for daily videos. And if you could take a quick second to subscribe to the second channel, Man Guide Reacts, link is down below in the description, so we can be sure that our message will keep on reaching the new men out there. I appreciate all the support, y'all.